Okay, so we already know what the balance is remaining on the mortgage after 36 months here, but I did want to show you a slightly different way to do this. I'm not going to really write any of this down just because I think it's a slightly convoluted way to do it. It does work, but it's a lot of extra work, and this is far superior in pretty much every way. We are going to use the TVM solver again to do it, but it revolves around you getting the monthly mortgage rate. So you have to get this no matter what. Like, you have to basically answer A first. But if you wanted to, you can go back into the TVM solver and you can basically program it to figure out what the future amount is only after 3 years. So check this out. In the TVM solver, instead of having 10 times 12, you're only going to use 12 per year and then 3 years. Interest rate's always the same, PV's always the same, but this time you're going to have your PMT as the thing that you solved for in the last question. So you're going to leave it in. But this time you're going to go down to FV and you're going to go alpha solve. So in this reason here, you're going to get your answer from A. You're going to have to go back up to N, change that to 3 times 12, go back down to FV, and then solve for that one. And that's going to get you the same value of the balance as if you were to just go and do it by BAL 36. Okay, so here's why I don't think this is a great idea. If you do this and you end up messing around with your TVM solver, then you're going to, any question that comes after this is either one, you're going to have to completely blank it out and start over again, which, I mean, might happen anyways. Or two, when you try to use the interest trick or any other things, any other one of these shortcuts, now it's basically all screwed up because you don't have it as the future value of 0. So it's up to you of how you want to approach one of these questions. I would prefer this method because it kind of separates the questions from itself and separates the thinking. However, if you want to go back and fiddle around with a TVM solver to get what you need, that's cool too. In the end, no matter what, we should get our balance at the end of the year being 168,833 and change. So that's kind of was B, but I just kind of want to show you another method to do it. Let's move on though. So C, we've done B. Let's go ahead and let's do C. So we've done this guy. So after the 3-year term, the mortgage is renegotiated for a 5-year term at prime plus 2.3% compounded annually. They make a lump sum payment of $10,000. How much is their new monthly payment? Okay, so again, we're going to do another TVM solver here. So we're going to need our values like N, I, PV, PMT, FV, P over Y, and C over Y, just as before. Our interest rate is going to be our prime 3% plus 2.3. So they're jacking up the interest rate just a little bit on us, right? They've stopped making a lot of money on us because we've paid off quite a bit of it. But now it's like, oh, okay, well, now that we're in the renegotiation, that's what we're going to offer you. We're going to obviously be solving for the monthly mortgage rate. So we're going to be solving for this. I said the word monthly, so our P over Y should be 12, and it's compounded annually, our interest. Our future value is still going to be 0, but careful with this. Just like our N value was 10 over here for the entire 10-year mortgage, well, we've already paid off 3 years of that. So our N value over here should not be 5 times 12, because then you're assuming you're paying it off in 5 years, which is incorrect. It's 7 times 12 here. 7 years times 12. Now, which is interesting about this question is that our balance from before, that gets carried over. That gets carried over to our PV because that is how much is left over. You know, I'm just going to do that in a different color. Our balance is what's going to get carried over as the new PV. So this is going to be our balance from 3 years, what we carry over. And then they're going to make a lump sum payment of $10,000. So just like a down payment happened from before, we're going to minus 10,000 from that. So you're starting to see a little bit about how kind of involved this question is. Let's go back to our TVM solver. Let's take our N value as 7 times 12. Let's give our interest rate as prime plus 2.3, so 5.3. Our PV is going to be the balance that we carried over after 3 years of paying for this mortgage, minus a lump sum payment. Think of it as a down payment, just as we did before. PMT, we're going to have to solve for that, so we'll come back up. Our future value is 0. P over Y and C over Y are good to where they are. Let's solve for this now. And you can see it actually just changed slightly, very slightly. But it did change so that our monthly mortgage payment right now, and remember from before it was $2,298. It is now $2,258. Now you might be saying, well, you know, why is it less than what it was before if the bank is charging you more interest? And you'd be right in that. But what you got to realize is that our principal value is significantly lower than what it was from before. So even though that our monthly mortgage rate is less, I don't know the certain percentage of this that is going to go per month towards the bank, or how much money it's going to be, but the bank is going to get more interest than they would have over here. So even though you're paying less, slightly more interest is going to be going to the bank now because you have that higher interest rate. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go back up and let's see what else we can do here. We have the final 2-year term is negotiated at prime plus 0.14, compounded annually. Calculate the new monthly payment. So we're going to be doing our monthly mortgage rate. This is for the second term. And as the question stated, this is for 5 years. This is for 5 years here. So we have a 7-year mortgage. This is for 5 years. We're going to need to calculate the balance after 5 years. Because this is what we're going to pull through to the last 2 years of it. Very, very similar of how we needed to get the balance after the first term to carry through to the second term. Well, we need to get the balance after the second term to carry over to the third term. So we're going to go ahead and go balance. And what's really easy about this is we just have to type in balance of 60. I'm just going to pause the video really quickly, and you can do that one for yourself, and I'll come back with that. So you can kind of see that I just calculated it put it in my calculator, and I got that our balance is going to be $51,377.78. Again, you could do this using the TVM solver and then just using the FV, but you're going to have to go back into it, make sure that your PMT is what we solved it for, change your N value, and then solve for your FV, and you should get the same thing. So that's really good for our balance of our second term. And now let's go ahead and let's do D. The final 2 years of the term is negotiated at prime plus that, and let's calculate that. So we have the last sort of leg of our mortgage question. We're going to calculate the monthly mortgage rate, so we still need to have N, I, PV, PMT, FV, P over Y, and C over Y. Monthly, we're going to solve. The PV is going to be the balance from the last term, so we're going to put that in. Our interest was prime plus, and I kind of forget what the percentage was, 0.14, so 3.14%. And now, since this is the final 2 years of the mortgage, we can say 2 times 12 here. We don't have to kind of do any more math on that. We've had the 3-year, we've had the 5-year, and then now we have the last remaining 2 of those 10 years. So let's go ahead and let's put this in last time in our TVM solver. Now let's go ahead and let's get this last monthly mortgage rate. 2 times 12 is 24, 3.14. Our PV is going to be the balance from our second term, now that we're calculating the third and final term. PMT we're going to have to solve. FV is still 0 for us. Excellent. Let's go ahead and solve. And finally, we're going to see that our last PMT, our last monthly mortgage rate, is $2,210. for our last term. Okay, so that's not 100% done our question yet, but I'm going to break it up into one final section, and then we're going to tie up everything after that.